Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Soraya Khumaira. I'm from class PBI 1 and 2 2017. Today, as our subject is discourse analysis, of course today I will introduce you about discourse analysis, and then the topic is three scopes of discourse analysis. And what this the thing is for the first is interactional discourse, and then transactional discourse and performance discourse. And then what I will do with this video is I want to give you the definition of the discourse that we have to focus on it, and then give it examples, the reason for analyzing the discourse, how to analyze it, and what things that we found on the analysis, and then what the implication of the analysis result. And then okay, without any further ado, let's jump to the next page. Okay, interaction speaking. What is interaction speaking? According to Brown and Yule in 1983, state that interaction involved in expressing social relation and personal attitudes. In daily life, people tend to use interaction to make their relationship more friendly. And then the nature of casual conversation has theoretically well explained by Richard in 2008. He claims that the main skill involved in casual conversational can be illustrated that the participant know how to do the following function, and then the function is one is opening, and the closing conversation is like hi and bye, is like that. And then choosing topics, you don't start the conversation without any topic you want to talking about. And then making a small talking, like greeting, hi, what's up, how are you, or joking. You can do joking with your friend, and then recounting personal incident and experiences. It's like hey, last night I went to the party, like that. And then employing turn talking and using agency pairs, like agency pair is about it's like if I say how are you, and then your answer is I'm fine, it's agency pair. Okay, I'll give you an example of interaction discourse is like I said before, using agency pair. Like when I say hi, you say hi to or hello, and then the conversation start with two person who discuss something, like maybe you're talking about the party, the school, anything, and then it's more casual conversation. And then it shows friendly conversation between two people. The participant use casual opening, and then the interaction show us some shift of topic, such as talking about the weather, and then into talking about the shopping. Maybe you talking about the party and you talking about school, maybe. That's the example. Okay, the reason for analyzing this discourse, the main task of analyzing this discourse is to provide information about the description of exchange structure, discourse sequence, language function, as well as internal structure existing, and use of language and pedagogical purposes. Okay, it stands to reason for saying that identification, the classification, and the explanation of language function are the product of discourse analysis, which are very beneficial both of students and teachers. Okay, how to analyze this discourse? In 1985, Coulthard carried out an analysis on casual conversation and found that the discussion pattern or exchange structure, or ERF, is initiation, response, and follow-up, also existed in a casual conversation. And however, the internal structure of the discourse as well as the function were found a bit different from the ones in a classroom interaction. Okay, it's there is an example about a conversation between A and B. A said, "Hey, what's up?" and B replied, "Why?" And A, "I'm going for a drink." B, "Can't. I got exam to mark." And A, "That's too bad." And then why this is invitation? Yep, there is an invitation in for A, and for B, why B responds why, and then the analyzing is response or invitation. The why in conversation is not really a response because it does not represent the answer of invitation or and given by B, and Y is labeled R or I, a response which contain an element of the second invitation, which is elects the second R or I, a response which contain an element of the third invitation. I'm going for a drink. Yeah, I'm going for a drink, which is then followed by a response, "Can't. I've got exam to mark." Yeah, and then the response finally elicits an utterance from the other participant to say, "That's too bad." So that's labeled follow-up. Okay, that's the explanation from me. Okay, what things are found from the analysis? Okay, we will gain many advantages for improvement of communicative competence, among other things, like we're able to recognize what the type of communication, formal or informal, matches the situation. Okay, and then we're able to identify types of utterances used by the native speakers under a certain condition, formal or informal. If they have to speak under a similar condition some other time, the student will be able to use the expression because they have known how someone else speak in that situation. So that is the advantages. Okay, we move to transactional speaking. And then what is transactional speaking is, okay, research in 2008 claims that speaking as transaction refer to a situation where the focus is on what is said or done. The message meaning which make one understood clearly and accurately is the central focus. In our social lives, transactional speaking can be identified in terms of discussions, debate, job interview, and etc. And then furthermore, this section makes effort to describe the function of spoken discourse as a medium of transacting message in our social life, which also called transactional speaking. Yeah, by Kaharudin in 2014. And had a book. Okay, this book is a transactional speaking. Okay, and then I read a book and I learned a lot about discussion, debates, and then this book is really helped me. Okay, as the example of interactional speaking, there is a debate, group discussion, job interview, speech, and then maybe for example is like our group discussion in every class. Maybe in discourse analysis class there is a topic and we discuss it with our group, or speech. Okay, in a book there are speech about from Donald Trump and Hillary. There is an example of transactional speaking. Okay, the reason for analyzing this discourse. Okay, the main feature of transactional speaking are one, function to exchange information, and then two, it is message oriented, which means to communicating meaning, and three, participants use strategies understand each other. And then 4, it needs more questions, repetition, checks for comprehension. 5, ideas negotiation normally occurs. And 6, language accuracy is not always important. So the reason for analyzing this discourse is to illustrate how the features that I have mentioned before work in transactional discourse. And how to analyze the discourse. Okay, it's same like as interactional discourse. For transactional spoken discourse has a discourse pattern which consists of 3 components also found in interactional spoken. There are initiation, response, as well as follow-up. However, follow-up seems like an optional in a transactional spoken discourse, since many English native speakers tend to simplify their speech when they interact with other people. Okay, what things are found from the analysis? In this regard, the information gathered from analyzing the transactional spoken discourse bring about some advantages for language teachers who are interested in teaching debaters or discussing to improve their students' transactional speaking skill. The teacher may use the discourse sequence as a pattern to compile transactional speaking teaching material in which the utterances in a material are sequenced by using the generic structure from each move in a transactional spoken discourse. And we can use the utterances from the data as a natural language expression, which can be used to perform particular function in transactional spoken discourse, such as debates or discussion. So the generic structure is the main thing that we can use and to make our speaking is more natural. Okay, what are the implications of the analysis result to teaching and learning debates in ELT? Okay, teaching transactional speaking skills by using authentic teaching materials developed from integrating the information of discourse analysis will be very useful and to help learners to interact naturally in transactional spoken discourse such as debate and discussion. The analyzing of debate will help the learners to avoid speaking which sound unnatural in transactional spoken discourse. Okay, for performance speaking, what is it? Okay, according to Richard in 2008, performance speaking is a type of spoken discourse that is aimed at transmitting information in front of an audience, commonly delivered in front of a monologue rather than a dialogue, such as classroom presentation, public announcement, lecture, as well as speeches. And then, for example, is like I said before, like classroom presentation on one subject. And in our class, there are a presentation about a topic, that selected topic, and then we do a presentation. Before that, we make a PowerPoint, and then we present it in front of the audience or classroom. Okay, the reason for analyzing this discourse performance discourse, many people that say that performance speaking is very difficult to do for 2 main reasons. For the first is speaking in front of a group for people requires high self-confidence in order to be able to handle their anxiety or stage fright when making a speech or presentation to the audience. While not all people have high confidence yet. So they have to practice speaking in public over and over to grow the high confidence. And the second is the public speaker is required to make effective speeches when speaking in public deals with the discussion of how to make an effective public speaking. However, for students at the Department of English Education that public speaking subject as a compulsory subject, it is even considered as a very important skill in speaking English. Okay, how to analyze the discourse? One is addressing the audience to start, and then greeting and gratitude. Greet and thank to them to show your friendliness, and an attention grabber. Get the audience attention. Yeah, that's how you start the speech and you grab their attention. Introduction. You have to tell them what you are going to say, and then the body. It's the main part of your speech, okay? And then the conclusion. You have to tell them all you have said, like the summary of your speech, and then ending is a final part of your speech. You have to make them remember something or give your gratitude to them, thank you very much and blah 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 blah. Okay, and what things are found from analyzing this discourse? So the generic structure is found after analyzing the discourse of speaking as performance. So there are five. For the first is addressing, like I said, the honorable, for teacher, brother and sister, we're adding one, and then greeting like good morning or assalamualaikum, and then attention grabber, like I said before, like everything you have to say to grab their attention, the audience attentions, and then introduction. So introduction is you have to introduce what the topic that you want to say, and then the body of your speech. The body of your speech is the main part of your speech. So there are the generic structure of performance speaking. So what are the implications of the analysis result to teaching and learning speech delivery in ELT? So the generic structure is identified after the discourse analysis may be used as a speech outline that function to help students in order to be able to organize ideas logically and clearly in making a speech. So by having an outline, the speaker is able to develop his speech more structuralized and easy to understand, especially if the student can use appropriate expression to convey each function within the basic structure of their speech. It will make the speech sound authentic and natural. Okay, finally we finish the explanation from me, and then as the conclusion. And okay, I review just a little review. Interactional spoken discourse is a casual conversation that we use in daily life, and then transactional spoken discourse is used to speak conversation where transactional speaking, the speaker and the listener are trying to share information in as efficient as possible. And the last is performance spoken discourse. Is used to make our speech or our performance in front of the audience is more structurable. The important things that I can describe is one is Courthard carry out an analysis on casual conversation and found that the discourse pattern or exchange structure of ERF, intention, response, and follow-up. Okay, and the generic structure of performance speaking, like I said before. Okay, that's the important things that I can describe. My recommendation to teachers and learners of English. As a student of English Education Department, I recommend you to more practice about to analyzing the interactional speaking and transactional, and then we learn about the ERF concept, that intention, response and then follow up. Okay, and we have to use generic structure of performance speaking because it can help us to make our speech is more better. And then I recommend you to read this book, okay, because we can find many lessons, and this book can improve your skill transactional speaking, especially in group discussion. You can do the group discuss with your friend with using this book because there are many topics to discuss. Okay, thank you to all the people who supporting me. My parents, they are facilitating me with all these facilities so I can do my video in order to complete my assignment, my mid assignment of discourse analysis, and especially with Mr. Kahar about this brilliant book, Discourse Analysis. This book is really helped me to finish this work. So, and for all my friends who support me, accompany my nights to discussing together. So, for the first, I can distinguish between interactional speaking and transactional speaking. So I debate with my friend about that, and all nights is maybe about 3 or 2 days that we always argue with our thought, and then we think about how we spend our night with debates in front of the camera, doing a video call every night. And then thank you very much. My name is Soraya Khumaira. Okay, Alhamdulillah I finished this work. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.